You are listening to the Creative Talks podcast, presented by the Architectural Authority magazine.
So I'll share another one of my grandfather's sayings because I love it so much and it's so apropos. He used to say, if you don't know where you're coming from, any bus will do. So for me, applied to interior design, if you don't live in a space that honors your background, your heritage, that doesn't support what you're currently about, it's not going to help you become what it is that you want to become. So when we talk about noetic interior design, which is what our philosophy is grounded on, is this idea that beyond form, there is a perfect reality for you. So how do we translate that perfect reality that encompasses all that past, present, and future into a space that is designed to help you grow?
Wow.
This episode is brought to you by Grohe. Inspired by a legacy of German precision, Grohe's most refined collections bring together timeless design and advanced engineering. The result is a seamless blend of performance and design that enhances the way we experience water every day. Through a meticulous manufacturing process that transforms raw materials into beautifully balanced surfaces, every function is designed for effortless control. At Grohe, innovation and craftsmanship come together to create something you can see, feel, and trust.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Creative Talks. Today we're sitting down with a designer whose work goes beyond aesthetics and really taps into intention and the spirit of space. I'm excited to introduce Veronica Barney, founder of Veronica Design Studio, a Miami-based interior designer known for creating spaces that feel warm, beautiful, and deeply personal. With years of experience transforming both residential and commercial environments, Veronica brings a thoughtful approach that blends design, functionality, and emotional connection, making every space truly reflect the people who live in it. Welcome to Creative Talks. Was that right?
Yes,
Accurate?
that was so beautiful.
That's
and
you.
Beyond what I was expecting.
That's you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
since I met you, I've been following you and I know you speak from the heart. I love to hear you because you're also very good at talking. You belong to TV or broadcasting
Yes.
or you belong here. Yeah, I love the way you speak. So,
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you, Cindy.
Veronica, I want to know everything from you because I follow you like in 3 or 4 accounts. So we need you to clarify who is each one
Who am
of
I?
those. Who are you? I know I relate to what you do, so I can relate. We just need to explain.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
So tell me.
before
You're from Colombia,
I am, yes,
but
originally from
you
Cali.
speak more English than Spanish?
Yes and no. I think I speak them 50-50, but
At home, what do you speak?
Spanglish.
Spanish. Or like you wake up and you say, ¿Quieres café o en inglés?
It depends on the mood, but I do nowadays find myself like thinking in English. So I guess you could
Okay.
say the English language is a little bit more
And your
predominant.
husband speaks English too, so
Yes.
because my kids talk to me in English and I
Mhm.
answer in Spanish. That's
Yeah.
how my house works.
Our dogs are also Spanglish.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
they understand both.
Yes.
Both
They understand. Vamos, go. Yes.
Nice. Okay, so you're originally from Colombia, but you've lived in Chicago, I believe.
I moved to Wisconsin
Oh,
when I was 10
Wisconsin.
years old. Yes. Yeah. But I think before we talk a little bit more about me, I just want to say to you that the work that you're doing is so beautiful.
Oh,
Having Collab Girls, I know that it was something that came as an
thank you.
inspiration to you, and I think it's so beautiful.
Thank you for going to the event with
Of
your polka
course.
dots.
Of course.
Still wearing
yes.
them.
Yes. Yeah, I
Yeah.
brought version 2 of the polka dots.
Uh-huh. Nice.
But no, for real, I think you're answering a call that sometimes you feel, and maybe you feel shy to answer, or like, why would I go the length to do those things?
Yes.
And it
I
takes
ask
a lot
myself,
of courage.
why do I do it? But I just feel like I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You give a gift to the world, and we're all here to
Thank
benefit
you.
from that.
Thank
So
you.
thank
Don't
you.
make me cry. So let's talk about you. But thanks
So
for
yes.
those words.
Yeah, thank you. I moved so I was originally born in Cali, Colombia. And then when I was 10 years old, my mom moved us to, of all places, Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. And that's where I grew up from ages 10 to 18.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how come she ended up in Wisconsin?
That's a long story, but basically, she was in a deep spiritual search.
Okay.
My dad was killed when I was 4 years
Oh,
old,
wow.
and that triggered a whole series of events for her and for our family, which ultimately led to her finding the spiritual path that she fell in love with, A Course in Miracles. And that's where it was being practiced at the time. And she
Beautiful.
moved there, and I was her only daughter, so she tagged me along, and it changed my life dramatically, moving from a South
Totally.
American country and having very deep roots there
Mm-hmm.
to being in the Midwest.
And did you go back to South America ever again, like to live
I
there?
did. So from ages 13 to 15, I went back to live with my grandparents,
Okay.
and I feel like that was one of the most beautiful times of my life because I got to grow up with my grandfather and my grandmother, who are no longer with me but had such a great impact in my life.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
I lived with my grandparents too. My mom got divorced when I was 10, and we went to live with our grandparents, and it's the best time of my life because I really felt at home, and I admire my grandfather just like you did yours. I get a lot of inspiration from him. He was an artist. He was a kind person. So yeah, it's a treasure if
For
we get
sure.
to live with our
For sure.
grandparents. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think those were the years where the very smallest seeds were planted for me to end up finding interior design as a career.
Mm-hmm.
They were known for having these beautiful, colorful homes that spoke to the culture of the indigenous culture and the African cultures that we have in Colombia. And
Okay.
for them, that was really important. So they had several homes that they built from scratch, and it was around that time where I was living with them that I got to see that. And although
Wow.
they didn't do that as a profession by any means, it's what they did for themselves. And I saw that the meticulousness, the attention to detail, and how much they wanted to incorporate the ecosystem into the way they lived. My grandmother had a huge green thumb, so we had like the prettiest gardens, and people would walk by the homes, and it was a very special home in the town where I lived
Wow.
with them. And then my grandfather had another home in the middle of Palmira Valle, where one of the conquistadors had been in the beginning of the 1900s, and the home it was so historic, and he cherished it that way. And
Wow.
yeah, I got to
So, but you
have
got
those seeds
from
from them.
both because you also got the spiritual side from your mom.
For sure.
Yes, and
Yes.
we'll
Yes.
get there because you have journey with purpose,
Mhm.
which we have to talk about. So let's get to 18 again. You're
Right.
graduate in the U.S.
Yes.
Did you decide I want to study interior design, or that came after?
No, not at all. So when I moved to the US, I had always been a very good student and I loved going to school. But moving to Wisconsin, going from a private school in Colombia, I didn't feel challenged at all. So I decided to homeschool myself, and that started in sixth grade.
Wow, you need a lot of discipline for that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I ended up finishing high school in 2 years instead of the typical four while I was
Wow.
holding two jobs.
No
Finally,
way.
when I graduated, for me, I wanted to go to a physical college, but at the time, my mom didn't have the means to support me in that way. So I said, okay, I can go to get my degree in business administration, which is what I ended up doing at that point, and still be able to support myself through work
So you
during
paid
the
for your
day.
college.
Correct. Yes.
hmm
Yes.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a lot in common. No, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
So, and then in the, I don't know, you got married, or when is it that design came back to you because it was
Yes.
always there.
It
It just
was
came back
really
to you.
always there. So recently, I had the beautiful opportunity to teach a class on interior design at a local elementary.
Wow.
And I was planning this small workshop for them. And as I was doing that, I was literally in tears because remembering and looking back on the process that brought me to interior design, I realized how free I feel now being in this field
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to anything I could have done before with the skills that I thought I had. But design and architecture have always been there. So when I lived with my grandparents, I had the opportunity of going to a different school than I was used to. And the goal of that school was that when you graduated, you would leave with a trade. And the courses that I ended up taking were technical drawing and architectural drawing. And I loved them, loved them. I also took like electricity courses and plumbing courses
Mm-hmm.
and um, how to understand like the motors of cars and that type of thing. It was very interesting school. So that was there. And then in um a few years after, while I was getting my degree in business administration, I started a design company with a friend, but it was for jewelry design.
Okay.
How did I end up doing that? I have no idea. My friend was just like, "Hey, do you want to start a business making jewelry?" I'm like, "Why not? I'm
Because you're
studying business
definitely an
administration."
entrepreneur. You
I
have lines of
am.
products,
Yes.
also like healthy proteins, things like that.
Yes.
So you were just, you present me a business, I say yes because I know I can do it, I
Yes.
guess.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
my grandfather had this saying that I love and I still live by it. He said, opportunities are presented like a bald man, like a guy without
Mm-hmm.
hair, and you just have to figure out how to grab onto them. And I
Wow.
think it's so true. You know,
Yep.
nothing comes to us. We really are the product of what we go after.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I said yes to building this business in jewelry design. I had that for a couple of years, and then fast forward, I married, came back to live in the U.S. because I was living in Medellin for like 3 years. In between that time, that's when I met my
You
husband,
met
and
him in Medellin.
our whole love story kind of developed.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and then while I was here finishing my degree in 2015, the randomest most surprising experience happened in my life where he had started working with a pharmaceutical company that was establishing a headquarters in Miami.
Okay.
And it was a 25,000 square foot facility. It was all a skeleton, like it needed wall coverings,
Everything.
tile, flooring, decor, everything. And out of nowhere, he told his boss, "My wife can do it." And I was like, he came home,
Amazing.
told me, and I'm like, "You're crazy.
You're
Like, I
crazy.
am not a designer by any means. Like, I don't even know what that looks like." And he's like, "No, like, look what you've done with our place." We had a rental at that point.
Uh-huh.
And long story
He
short,
saw it in you.
he
Mhm.
did, yes. And I would not be here if it wasn't because of his endless support.
Amazing. Yeah, I've seen he works with you or he helps.
He does, yeah. He
Uh-huh.
helps a ton. He's more on the operational side.
Okay.
But yeah, now we share an
And
office.
you
So
did do the facilities?
I did. Yeah.
How was
So
that?
I toured it. I gave him a proposal and he's like, "Okay, you're
And you had
hired."
to do partition walls, take in consideration what they were doing there,
Correct.
chemicals and stuff, maybe
Yes.
a flow production, etc.
Yeah, they had a boardroom office, which was a main point of importance for them,
Mm-hmm.
and all the common areas, the kitchen, all the bathrooms, where they would be doing all the substance mixing and making sure that some of their spaces were a bit restorative for them because that work can be really taxing.
Uh-huh.
It took maybe like 6 months altogether. And at the end, the project was a success. I collected my check. I was like, amazing. That was a very interesting experience in my life. Let me keep going in my business
Uh-huh.
administration field and doing jobs related to that. It was only until
Why?
because I couldn't fathom the idea that I could have a career out of that.
And maybe also because it wasn't the, I mean, a house is different a residence, or
Mhm.
maybe at that moment you had a little bit of fear. You did it anyways,
For
which is a
sure.
lot of courage. Yeah.
It was a very interesting experience, but I think the way we were brought up has a big influence in what we think is possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never seen anyone in my family being successful in a field that was creative. So for me to even think at that
Uh-huh.
stage, and also I was finishing a degree that in my mind was not entirely related to that.
Okay.
It was only until 2 years after that that I was working. Um, I was working for Sacred Space at the time, which is this beautiful it no longer exists, but they do wellness retreats and they have
Okay.
a beautiful store with all of these wellness products. I was working for them and doing really well. I had gotten promoted. I was I was doing well, but I was not happy. And I remember one day coming into work and thinking, I feel so suffocated. Like I need something else. Like, God, please help me out there. Tell me what it is that I am supposed to do as a career that I will feel fulfilled, because I could see myself going up in the ladder and being successful, but my heart was not filled.
Wasn't.
And around that time, we had finally bought our first home and we had remodeled it completely. We shared some photos online for a housewarming party that we were going to have. And a friend saw them and he sent me a message and he's like, Veronica, I want you to do my home. I just bought it. Here's a video. Please come and tell me how much you're going to charge me. Shocker. I'm like,
Amazing.
what? Like,
Answering. God answering.
literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like interior design found me.
Yeah.
And that's when I really considered, okay, I can make a career out of this. And I love this. I feel challenged by
Mm-hmm.
it every day. It
I feel
inspires
happy
me.
every day. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And business has a lot to do with what we do. A lot. And if you have that in that knowledge, it's power, because we
Yes.
need a lot of business strategies, models, the administration, because that's the killer part for a creative. And you have both.
For sure.
Hmm.
Yes.
So,
Understanding timelines and budgets and that there's a process to everything and how to
that you
communicate with the
sometimes have
client.
to think with numbers in mind, not only with aesthetics in mind. So it takes you back to earth,
For sure. For
knowing
sure.
about business. So no wonder you're doing so good. So after that, one project led to the other. That's how it happens usually.
Yes, that after that project, we ended up selling that home, and the people that bought it, they said, okay, this is amazing. We want to turn it into an Airbnb. And by the way, we're buying this other home. Can you help us remodel it as well? And it just kept growing in that manner. And I said, okay, I want to be able to do this and have all the knowledge and the tools that I need to do like properly do interior design. So I took other certifications to help me be more prepared. And and then I said, okay, I guess I'm really doing this.
Yes. And that's when you found Veronica Design Studio.
Correct.
But your calling was also there, and you wanted to tie it in with your intentions, with your spiritual path. And I guess how this journey with purpose is born.
So, Journey with Purpose is actually my personal page on Instagram.
Okay. But you
And it's
speak,
very,
I don't know, you've had, I don't know if it's in which page, but
yeah,
you've had like reviews of projects in which you tell us what is it that you're doing there. You're there really helping people or pulling out their own way of living, but going into the spiritual side
right.
of the
Yeah. So
clients.
the spiritual side has always been so huge in my life. I think after my father passed, it propelled me like to seek deeper answers for
You were a
myself.
kid.
Correct. I was 3, and that emptiness was very much felt, even though my grandfather played a big father figure in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm so grateful, but it shocks you, like he was shot in
Yeah.
the head, and then we also found someone else, a cousin of mine strangulated in the morgue.
No.
Like, it's
Yeah.
So for me, and I saw my mom going into that search, and somewhere in my mind, I knew that there were different answers out there for me. So the spiritual has always played a very big role in now the way that I relate to clients, because I don't see clients as just another picture that I'm going to put in a portfolio. I literally feel as that they have come into my life so they can heal and I can heal
Mm-hmm.
within the relationship that we have.
Yep.
So it's almost as if interior design is the excuse for why we meet, but what
Mm-hmm.
is happening is actually so much deeper.
Yep. It's totally true. I
Yeah,
always think that way. And there are difficult clients I had at the beginning, and I said, what do I need to learn from this? I needed
absolutely.
to learn how to defend myself. I needed to learn how to charge what it's supposed to. So there were a lot of clients until you pass all that, and then only beautiful clients come to you. We have to
Yes.
graduate.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
for
we have to
sure.
graduate.
For
There's
sure.
also other I had another experience where my first intention to do interior design was to heal through spaces,
Mm.
because you can feel calm, you can help a kid feel better or feel alive even if he's sick through the spaces. So I had that in mind, and the first big client that comes to me had lost her daughter at Surfside,
Wow.
and she had no life. She was walking dead, and we changed her home. The whole process was difficult because there were a lot of emotions in
Mm.
that house that came out in during the process. Her frustration, a lot of things, and at the end she now can live a happy life because she changed everything, and that energy passed, and now she can remember her daughter from a happy place, and that really moved me.
For sure.
Yeah, that was my first big experience in interior design. And then I said, okay, God, I want other normal clients that I don't have to suffer as well, because you take it all. You take it all. So
Yeah.
then it's been a change. And I don't know what I'm trying to learn right now. But
Yeah, every experience teaches us something, and I think it's beautiful when you have a designer that cares enough, not just about the space, but also like where is your life at? Like what
mhm,
are those major challenges that you're trying to overcome in your personal life? Because
yeah.
those emotions are going to flourish during the process. And so how
Also,
do you
company.
accompany?
Some people need company. We
Absolutely.
are the excuse, like you said,
Hmm.
to go out on a date, to buy furniture, and then have lunch.
For
So
sure.
we're talking, and they are also healing. Yeah, it's beautiful
Absolutely.
what we do.
Absolutely.
We're like
Yes.
little doctors of the space. I don't know.
Yes. Yes. And sometimes it's as simple as you just asking them, hello, and how are you? Like, what is
Mhm.
going
Like
on
you care
with
about
you
their life.
today, instead of jumping right into the semantics of the stage that the project is at, that feels so that they're receiving love, that you're not just there to finish your job so that you can get paid.
Mhm. So how would you describe your design philosophy? We just said a lot of things, but I'm sure you have it really clear.
Yeah. So I'll share another one of my grandfather's sayings because I love it so much and it's so apropos. He used to say, if you don't know where you're coming from, any bus will do. So for me, applied to interior design, if you don't live in a space that honors your background, your heritage, that doesn't support what you're currently about, it's not going to help you become what it is that you want to become.
Mhm.
So when we talk about noetic interior design, which is what our philosophy is grounded on, is this
Mhm.
idea that beyond form, there is a perfect reality for you. So, how do we translate that perfect reality that encompasses all that past, present, and future into a space that is designed to help you grow?
Wow.
Yeah.
You belong to that suite over there, ¿verdad, Armando? They talk about spiritual design at every conversation. They are going deep. So I think you need to go next to the construction to talk a little bit more in depth, because there is a movement
Mm.
right now. I believe maybe humanity is needing it. And that's why this is happening. That everyone is trying to be conscious on what we're doing with our profession, because it impacts lives truly.
Absolutely.
It's not just that, okay, your house is going to look beautiful, but it's what's going to make you a better person, better at your job or whatever you do. So we really impact lives, and it's a big responsibility.
It's a huge responsibility. It's an honor to step into any client's home and help them in that journey of transformation.
Hmm.
I look at it from the perspective of chemicals. Like, are you searching for dopamine in the remodel that you want to do with your home and just get that quick pleasure of the before and after and like, oh my gosh, I was able to get everything that I wanted? Or are you looking for oxytocin to be derived from that process, which is that feeling of love and that whatever it is that I picked and all of the finishes that we chose are actually helping me to evolve and are supporting me in
Hmm.
that process.
That's beautiful.
Closet Lab ofrece soluciones de organización para tu hogar, bien sea desde closets, mudrooms, laundries, garajes. Estamos ahorita incursionando también en el área de las cocinas.
Ujú.
Entonces,
Vi
ahorita
una cocina bellísima
sí,
que
espectacular.
publicaste.
Estamos trabajando en conjunto con gente para poder brindarle al cliente el servicio completo, por lo menos el
Ujú.
tema de la cocina, quitarle un dolor de cabeza al cliente y ofrecerle todo el servicio completo
Completo.
desde el principio hasta el fin y que no tenga que sufrir en el proceso
Una de
también.
las cosas que a mí más me gusta de Closet Lab es esa eficiencia y rapidez en la que nosotros podemos tener un presupuesto.
De verdad que una de las cosas de las cuales me siento muy orgullosa es la efectividad del proceso y lo rápido que es. En una hora
Sí.
entramos y salimos de tu casa con todo el proyecto hecho.
And you've had projects like at another states, right? I
Mm.
just saw a transformation house. I don't know if it was New York. Where was that?
We've done projects in New York, in Vegas,
So what do?
Colombia.
You go there for a season, or just remotely you help them and then you visit? How does that work?
It depends on the extent of the project,
Mm-hmm.
but so one of the services that we offer is completely virtual where we don't have to
Okay.
be there. And if clients, as long as can send us measurements and videos, we can help them.
And they
And
execute with someone
they,
locally.
yes, we
Mm-hmm.
help them choose or like vet the team that they
Mm-hmm.
end up working with. And we make sure that they're getting all of the specs so they know exactly how to execute it. And at times, when the project is a lot more extensive, like for example, a remodel that we did of a restaurant in San Francisco, they'll fly us out midterm before CA starts. And just to make sure that all of the plans are completely understood, and we do a physical check of the space.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And you were saying your husband is in your team.
Correct.
So how is it working together with your husband?
It's great.
Yeah? Well, you're one
He
of
brings
the
me down to earth.
good. Good to know that.
Yes, yes. I always show him my design plans, and he's like, "Well, maybe you can tone that down a little bit or present them the B alternative you have." But yes, he helps a lot in the operations.
He's part of like the GC team,
Correct. Yeah. When
because
the
you are design and build, not only design.
correct. Yes, we do
Okay, good.
from idea all the way to execution. And where he helps the most is once the design phase is completed and we're in the construction administration phase. If there's any problems, he's the one there to address
And
them.
what would you say has been the most challenging in this field for you?
The most challenging, well, certainly learning the applications for visualization,
Mm,
SketchUp,
yeah.
rendering, all of that, that had its own challenge. And then more in the operation side of it is finding team members that have that same vision, that understand that their work, whatever they're doing with their hands, is impacting a family or a business, and that it's valuable, that their work is literally
Yeah.
leaving an imprint in that space. And for them to have that awareness is sometimes a bit of a
Right.
jump,
Not everybody
because
has that.
right, they
Yeah.
see
They
their
just want to do their 9 to 5 and
Mhm.
put tile and goodbye.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
So
must be
those
challenging.
relationships
Yeah,
are the
to
most
find your
challenging.
crew
Yes.
to feel the same way you do.
Yeah. But
That
it's
must
also an opportunity, because we are, like you said, Adriana is a huge inspiration with bringing awareness to this whole spiritual movement and perspective to design. But also, when you have tools that other people don't know, then you get to bring that to the table and have them start thinking just a little bit different about their job.
Mhm.
So I'm lucky to have found people that are open enough to,
To
hey, like,
accept those.
yes, let me hear more about this. And then they take even more pride in what they're doing. So it's beautiful.
So if we talk about inspiration for you to develop a design, of course you get it from the client, but what is your process?
I love history and I love context. So, yes, I do get, let's say, 80% of my information from the client. And there's a lot of psychological prompts that I throw out there to get the answers that I need, but also cues from the space, like the age of the home, the neighborhood. What was the history of that neighborhood? Because I'm always looking to honor history.
You're bringing your grandpa.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes, for sure, for sure. I value history so much. So I feel that honoring context and landscape is so important, as much as the soul that the client is bringing in to imprint into the design.
So when you have a full gut renovation, you're not the kind of designer that wants to tear down all the walls. You
No.
want to rescue.
Yes.
You want to rescue some
Yes.
spaces to keep
Yeah,
as treasure from the home, the original home.
for sure. And that's why
I
I
like that
veer.
too. The GCs always say, "No, yeah, we tear this down and that fireplace." I really want to rescue something.
Yes,
Let
someone
me do
lived
it.
there before
Yeah.
someone did work to the home.
That's
Like,
energy
how do
too.
you honor them as well?
Mhm. The house has its own personality
Yes.
sometimes.
Yeah.
So for full gut renovations, you even visit the house to get inspired as well. I'm sure you do.
Yes, sometimes I'll go in there where there is no one, and
Me
I'll literally
too.
sit in the floor,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm like,
me too.
"Okay, home, talk to me."
Uh-huh.
I mean, aside from, like, the
Yeah.
actual analytical process
There
that
was
you do
one
to find
client from
information.
Colombia that when I said to him, "Yeah, I just need to be alone with the house for a
Yes.
little," he said he was happy about it. He said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Talk to the house. Stay there. I'm going home." He was happy because he was a little creative as well, and he understood what I was doing. But not everybody I can tell. Let me talk to the house for a little.
Mhm.
Not to everybody.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, and even once a design is done, like, I ask myself, and I put every single project that I get in God's hands, in a higher
Oh
power's
my God,
hands,
that's
because
so powerful.
we can have all of these ideas and we have our skills and our intentions, but how do we know it's truly the ultimate best for the client? We don't. So every project that I do goes through that phase of where I let go completely, and I'm like, show me if this is really exactly what we're supposed to be doing, and if this will
Mhm.
be to the highest benefit of the client.
And then the inspiration just starts coming at
Yes.
3 a.m.
Exactly.
from nowhere.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, when you give it all, like it's in your hands
Yeah.
and it comes to you.
Yes.
It's amazing when
Mhm.
you're that connected because you see that everything happens for a reason and then you are supposed to be there and this is going to succeed
Yeah.
because you're an instrument.
Mhm.
Hmm.
100%.
Yeah, incredible.
I think that's also the reason why I lean more towards remodels than new builds, because I love, how do we
Transformation.
transform, but how do we keep those elements that are original and that make this unique?
Hmm.
And how do we add some bits of modernism in order to bring it up to the current century? Than just being able to choose anything that I could want and bring
Yeah.
it into existence. But sometimes that
That's
lacks
for
soul.
cash. That's for cash. The other things are for purpose. Like
Yes,
do a
yes.
spec home. Yeah, that's easy. I'll just go and find
There's no challenges.
beautiful
Yeah,
materials I put together. Yeah,
yeah,
that's. But we need those too.
for
Yeah,
sure.
keep them
Both,
coming.
absolutely. Yeah.
So, what is your favorite part of the process? You like to be in construction. You like to be in the creative side more. At the end, when you're styling, the what is your favorite part? You can say all.
I love them all, each in their own way.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reason why I love this career and why it doesn't feel like I'm trapped in it is because every day it changes. So every stage where we're in pulls a different side of my brain, and that side of my brain feels nourished. And then the
Uh-huh.
next day is something else. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
We are overstimulated because
Yeah.
even when we go to the lunch and learns and the showrooms, we also feel happy
Hmm.
learning and learning.
Absolutely.
We feel happy at the photo shoot. We feel happy when we're dusty. I always try to
Yes. Yeah.
explain why you always smile because I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what would you say it's your personal style? Because I saw your house. You mix colors. You have no fear.
Yes.
You can put color or wallpaper in your ceiling.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that bold Veronica.
I think Veronica has many sides. I would say my style is irreverent, unpredictable, but also soft. So I think I'm capable of creating something that looks very boho and very organic, but then also something that's very dramatic and very art deco. Right now, the house where we're in, I wanted to honor that historical perspective of it and bring more of that art deco meets modern contemporary feel
Mm-hmm.
to it. Um,
So you have teal in the living room,
yes.
bright flowers, a
Yeah.
little bit of purple.
I wanted it to feel like a Paris home. And the
Nice.
dining room, which is the space that you're talking about, I wanted it to feel like a Paris cafe. So
Wow,
yeah,
yeah,
no fear of doing wallpaper
you
in the
did it.
ceiling. And
And then when you are presented with a client, do you introduce those ideas or you let them guide you? Because you could also bring in a little bit of your personality every time. And
for
it's
sure,
nice.
yes. We have tendencies that we tend to go towards, but I always, when I start a design process, I really try to take a step back and allow the client to be what dictates what they need. But a lot of the times, what they tell me they want is not actually what they need. So that's
Mm-hmm.
where the psychological perspective comes in, and where I have to tap in from things that they're not saying and the story that they're telling me to give them suggestions of, okay, in the stage that you're in your life right now, with the goals that you have, and with maybe the blind spots that I see that you also have in this moment, this is what I would recommend. And for this
Give me
particular
an
house.
example of those questions that you use to pull out that information.
There's one that I love that tells me a lot about my clients, and it's actually one that you've asked people here on the podcast is, if you weren't doing the profession that you're doing now, what would you have done? And
Okay.
so that allows me to see
What else
this
they like?
hidden aspect of
Mm-hmm.
themselves that maybe they didn't get the chance to explore. And so, how do we feed that part, which is very creative,
Mm-hmm.
through the design in their home?
Amazing. Wow. So tell me more about your day to day. So you start Monday. Do you have a routine
I
or
do.
you like to just be spontaneous and today
No.
I want to do this? No.
No, I am
You're very
super
structured.
structured.
Mm.
Yes, because like you said, I have two other businesses. So
Uh-huh.
the choice is power, which is actually, I think, the one that you were referring to initially. That's my spiritual podcast and all of the work
Okay.
that I do that relates to A Course in Miracles. And then I have the food brand, which is a vegan, plant-based
Uh-huh.
product, high protein plant-based product that you can make your own meat out of. So there's a lot of channels, and I have to
Right.
be very organized so that
To
I am
attend them all.
dedicating enough time to each of them. But obviously, interior design is my priority, so it takes up 80% of my week. And then
Okay.
all of the other stuff is weekends or after 6 p.m.
Yeah, but when you are like a multitasker, because if you ask me, I have like 5 businesses, but you can do them. You know what you can, and you take what you can,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna do it well because you're also kind of like a perfectionist, and right. So I know you can do them all. And you were going to open a store with your partner or something like that.
Not exactly a store. So the plant-based product that we have right now, our goal is to get it to
To the stores.
non-vegan restaurants, for
Okay.
non-vegan restaurants that want to have a clean protein alternative on their menu. That's our goal. But it's right now it's all online.
So this is very into you, wellness and living clean. Is that something that you do you think your clients look for you because of that
Well, it's
philosophy
it's
or
led me
culture?
to I'm very much in touch with the vegan community, and that has led me to find a lot of clients, bodybuilders or
Hmm.
people that know me because we're in vegan circles. So a lot of my clients have come from that interest.
Okay.
Um,
But they've ever asked you, I want cruelty free materials. I
oh
want,
yeah,
yes, I
yes,
want sustainable
absolutely, absolutely,
floors. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Because I think you also attract that because you have
Mhm.
that
Right.
conscious.
That is very big for me, and that's what I've been leaning into a lot this year specifically, using more
Hmm.
sustainable materials and just creating more awareness when I'm having conversations with my clients. Because yes, like we live in a world where we don't think we're connected to everything, but we
Hmm.
are, you know.
Even in the ceiling that we use for the fabrics, we can be conscious and select the ones that are not going to affect the baby that
Exactly.
it's crawling or, So yeah, it's a nice awareness. It's a nice uh, time that we're living in because everybody's talking about it more and more, more and more.
Mhm.
The other day they had two podcasts, one after the other, talking only about sustainable materials
I
and
love that.
responsible materials. So I think it's going to be a requirement,
Mm.
but I don't have it yet. My clients don't ask me for it. But since they see you involved in that, I think they come to you.
For
Those that
sure. Yeah,
want,
and sometimes it's just a little bit more difficult to source those
right.
materials,
And it's more
but
expensive
they are available,
sometimes.
and sometimes it can be more expensive, but a lot of times I find that it's not.
No?
It's just, having the awareness that those other products are available.
Yeah, there are even factories that support, I don't know, the whole factory is handled by women and they create the mosaic chips, for example, for Vidrepur. And that's a beautiful story. And I want to use the
I
mosaics.
recently used
Yeah.
Liverpool. Yeah,
Uh-huh. So, yeah, there's a lot of products out there that deserve a chance in our projects. And we just need to know what
exactly.
it's behind. And that's one of the reasons why creative talks exist is to know the human behind the brand.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's such a beautiful thing because
Yeah.
we see projects, we see before and
Hmm.
afters, but there is a whole person that is so
There is
complex
this
behind.
person who lived in Colombia and in Wisconsin that is giving us so much every day with what you do.
Thank you.
So thank you. I would like to for you to give a message because you're very good at it to the younger generations, those that want to be a designer and maybe had the same idea that you had at the beginning. This is not going to be profitable for me. Maybe I'm not going to succeed. Please tell them that's your camera.
For sure.
Mhm.
Oh, if you feel drawn to it, I would say trust that. You have a unique gift that you can give, and the people that you're meant to be in a relationship with will come to you. Honor your voice. Your word is your bond. Make sure that you keep what you say and you follow through, and learn from your elders. There's so much wisdom from the past that we can learn from, and that is so fulfilling and will empower your own skills by far more than you can even imagine.
Thank you for that. Not everybody likes to talk to the camera. I got one. I got one. If you could design a space for any person in the world, who would it be and why?
Oh my gosh. I read that question when you sent me the list.
Do you have an
And
answer?
I got goosebumps. I would love to design something for Shakira.
Wow, I
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
Shakira, if you watch Creative Talks, I'd be very happy
I'm
first.
here.
But we have a designer that would like to collab and do something for you.
I
She
just
must
think
have.
she means so much to females today. I mean, not only by her incredible, extensive, beautiful voice, but what she's done to empower, to um yeah, just create more awareness and more kindness and
Mhm.
no apathy. Like there are so many problems socially that are happening and we think they have nothing to do with us, but she has shown that you actually can plant a seed and that something can come from that. So
Yeah.
yes, I would love to design something for her.
I hope this message gets to her. And if she
That would
calls
be
you,
incredible.
please take me to the site
Sí, Shakira,
visit.
también soy de Colombia.
Sí, sí, Shakira. We're here. Veronica is waiting for you. And we didn't discuss design, but before we go, is there a trend that you secretly love or one that you would like to see go?
For sure. Secretly love wainscoting. I could put wainscoting in every single project if I
What is
could.
it?
I think it just adds so much dimension and detail to walls or
Oh, the
even
moldings?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I loved it. There it was a big trend last year. A lot of people requesting it. I want it to look like Madrid or
Mhm.
yeah, Spain. Then I don't know if they've gotten tired or is it still going? It's still going?
For some of my projects it's still
Yeah.
going.
And then what about the lime wash and the panels?
I love Venetian plaster. Love
Uh-huh.
it. Love it. That's definitely staying
I
for
am
me.
scared of using it too much because I feel like it's gonna pass. I don't know.
I feel like the patina finish ones are meant to pass
Mhm.
because they don't feel as organic, but the
Mhm.
ones that have more of a matte finish or something
Like
like what you
that.
have here, it feels a lot more connected to the environment and something that you would find, let's say, in a seashell. So
Mhm.
I don't think it'll pass.
So yeah, I think that everything is moving to that organic feel. The curves that came strongly, the greens, the terracottas that we didn't use before. So I'm liking this
Yes.
epoca.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And one that I would like to go, and this is both in interior design and architecture, is just everything being so linear and so boxy.
Uh-huh.
I feel
Yeah.
that there is no flow, no observance of the natural shapes that you find in
Mhm.
nature. And I feel like it leads to very narrow minded thinking, like from a long term perspective of people that live in very linear environments. So, yeah, I would like that to
It's
go.
true. Well, I feel like you have to come back. You have to visit Adri first, and then you have to come back because I love talking to you, knowing about
Thank you.
your journey. And thank you. It's been a pleasure. We met. Where did we meet? At Procene at
At
an event.
Prosane, yeah.
And what Mikey said is like, she's one of yours. He told me,
I
he's one of
know, he
yours.
said that.
And it was like that. We clicked and we've been friends ever since,
Yes, yes,
right?
and I'm very grateful and honored that you are taking
Me-
the time to listen to me and to invite me into this beautiful, magical set, because that's the only way you can describe it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming and thank you all for listening. Shakira, bye bye.
Love it.
Thank you so much for listening to the Creative Talks podcast. Your 5-star reviews really help us continue what we do. Please rate your listening experience, and let's keep building this beautiful community together. For exclusive access to more design content, visit thearchitecturalauthority.com or download our app from the App Store or Google Play. Until next time, take care and keep creating.